experience, how do you overcome it?
We face that every single day. Because that is what we see. So I think we have to change the mindset of the readers, but first of all we have to change the mindset of those who actually tell us what we are capable of and what we are not capable of. There are a lot of things happening every single day, but none of these things are actually printed anywhere. Journals are not for the public. And if journals are not for the public, only journals are for the experts, only the experts look into it. I think that is where even, thank you for asking this particular question, that the contribution of the media also becomes extremely important to tell the world that we are doing a large number of things. Ridwan would like to add here.
Yeah, I mean, whenever, my experience with that, I'm involved with each call. I don't know whether you've heard the name of it. It has got one of the most successful solar programs in the world. We have got 2.5 million solar home system installed so far. And I'm the chairman of the technical committee there. When the program started 10 years back, I told them, you are getting hundreds of millions of dollars for the solar home system. Please set aside just 0.1% of the fund for R&D. They said, what R&D you need? The panel has been bought from the foreign country. The battery has been taken from a battery manufacturer. You just assemble them. I said, look, once you start, even at the field, you don't know what sort of problems will be coming up. So keep aside. It's small amount of money, but I failed to make them convinced. But see, after 10 years, they are realizing now that that was a mistake. But you realize it after a very long time. But it is there.
I'll have last question at the back. Yes, please.
Afternoon, my name is Sajid. I graduated from IB recently and I'm working in a telecom company right now. So my question is, when we talk about the funds, the lack of funds, and we talk about that we have to look at the industry to give that fund to the universities. So do we actually think what kind of industry in our country do we have? If you look about multinational companies and corporates as a whole, the biggest is banks, then probably comes telco. We really have very few production-based or manufacturing-based industries, especially multinational industries in our country. So do you think, any of you, the whole panel, do you think is there a issue of policy at the government level regarding that how we can attract manufacturing-based multinational companies to come here and set up those manufacturing-based industries so that they can somehow channel the fund to the universities?
Shafula, will you answer that?
Basically, it's the understanding of the private sector within its management. Actually, for an example of ACI, we have stakeholders. It's a public limited company. We have to answer to the public about any kind of investment. But if you really can make the business case for each of the innovation, it is possible to manage this kind of investment. And in agriculture, like pharmaceuticals also, they have a drive for innovation, and they have to make innovation. For example, just for seed, what we sell, if we import it from a different country and buy it and sell it here, the kind of money that we have to invest, only half of the cost we can invest in for a local products. And for this reason, basically, we have introduced already in the market. We have 40 innovative products from ACI. They are in the market, agriculture seeds, and there are around 30 there in the pipeline. And this kind of innovation really gives us the edge of having a very low cost production. So this kind of business case we have to have here. Like if we can make a very good GP out of the local production of the local innovative products. In that case, actually, they give confidence to the management, and they are at the time they are willing to invest in this kind of innovative. So that's why ACI is actually collaborating with different universities and really want to partner with.
Ashok?
Can I add a comment?
I'll come back. Ashok, if you want to add why the multinationals are not coming into Bangladesh, is there any specific reason that you would like to add?
In the pharma sector, if I see that because of the drug policy as such, there is a limit to how much the pharma multinationals can market their very specialized products here. There is not much of a market here. It's more for general products, and for the general products, the multinationals are not very interested because they would like to market their patented products here right now. And so since there is not much of a protection for patented products till now, till 2016, so I think the scope is limited.
So do you really think that 1st January 2016 we should be?
Yes, after 2016, yes, multinationals should be more interested, much more interested.
Okay.
But once the patent regime.
But at the end of the day, they will bring in patented products.
Yeah.
They would not be actually collaborating in terms of research and development.
But then of course through a policy network, through a policy system, they can be enforced to cooperate with the universities.
Rizwan would like to add something?
Actually, that was my comment. You see, with multinationals, they are more interested to, sell their own patented products. They are not interested in developing here. That we must accept that one. So it is the responsibility of the government to enforce them, as you have said. Like 1% of the profit has to be pumped in for R&D. So you find out where you're going to invest. So in that case, there will be innovation from two sides. You find out, you try to be more innovative about finding out your problem because you have to spend that 1% anyway. And that money will go to the universities, and the university will take, okay, I have an opportunity, I have to be more innovative so that I can attract the fund from others. So I think there should be a policy that 1% or 2% of the surplus of the profit must go into R&D of all the companies.
Well, that is a policy that Rizwan is coming up with. 1% of all funds from every single company must go for R&D. Profit. Okay, and you can rest assured there is a protection from the government as well. The present government has come up with a very strong policy of CSR, based on which actually the industry does get an advantage through contributing to the university for R&D as well. That is also part of it. So you should bear that particular thing in mind. But saying so, let's also bear in mind that we are fairly rich in human resource, but land is scarce. So in which area should we move? Saying that again, may I also add that there are enterprises today within Bangladesh, be it in the agricultural sector or even manufacturing, which are actually planning to move out from Bangladesh through leasing land, or even EPZs are being now planned outside of Bangladesh. So these are also innovations that are taking place. Once that takes place, probably Bangladesh is going to take the next step much faster than what we are thinking of. We don't have to wait, inshallah, till 2021 or beyond to become a mid-income sort of a country. We can look forward to doing that much faster. Thank you so much, panelists, for being with us and sharing your thoughts with us. And I look forward to looking at a better Bangladesh in the future. And thank you very much for all of you for being here and taking interest in this particular topic. Thank you so much.